So this week we're going to talk about value. Now, value is the lightness and darkness of a color. So we are going to start with black and white, and then we'll move on to creating more colors. So what we'll need today is a pencil, a ruler, and then we'll either need a black and a white crayon or a black and a white oil pastel. In this video, I'll be using oil pastels. Once we get our black and white on the paper, we will be able to add color. And again, you can do that with crayons or oil pastels. So many of us in kindergarten and second grade have not practiced drawing with a ruler. So we're going to try that today. If it comes out good, that's great. I don't want you to get too frustrated or hung up on this step. Just try your best. So I'm going to put my ruler on my paper, and I'm going to draw a line from the number 1 to the number 7. So again, number 1 to 7. Then I'm going to find the number 1 and put it at the end of my line and draw a line from the number 1 to the number 3. 1 to 3. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, from the number 1 to the number 3 on my ruler. Then I should be able to line up my lines from the number 1 to the number 7 to create a rectangle. Next, I'm going to mark off where my tinier boxes are going to go. So I'm going to use my ruler on the bottom line. You noticed I have it from 1 to 7. And at each number, I'm going to make a little mark. So at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I'm going to connect those lines from the top of the box to the bottom. And those are going to give me even smaller rectangles. Again, a lot of you haven't done this before, so if it's not perfect, it's okay. We are going to draw a second one though, so those of us that need a little extra practice will get that. Remember, we're going to go from the numbers 1 to 7 across the paper. Then from the number 1 to the number 3 going down. Remember to connect your lines. We want to do this on both sides. And then we connect the number 1 and the number 7 again at the bottom. And we have another rectangle. And if you remember, we line up on the bottom. Sorry, my camera's off. And we check off the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we connect those lines from the top to the bottom. I will pause the video so that you guys do have time to catch up. If you're at home doing this, you can pause the video, or you can even rewind the video and make sure that you've done it correctly. So we have 2 boxes, okay, 2 rectangles that have 6 spaces. And we're going to start off with our black and our white. And we're going to go from lightest to darkest. I'm going to start with my white. Now, I did choose a gray piece of paper. This is going to work best on a brown or a colored piece of paper. So in class, I will give you brown paper. Even zooming in, you couldn't really tell. And this was gray paper and the white didn't show up very well. But we want to fill the whole first box in with our white crayon or color pencil. So again, we want to fill that in completely white, and we can push hard on our crayons and oil pastels. In the last box, we're going to make that black. So you notice if I push hard, it comes out very dark, and if I draw lightly, there's some spaces on the paper. So we want to make sure we push hard and fill in all the space, leaving no pieces of the paper coming through. So we're going to move to the second box now. We're going to go real lightly, not pushing too hard with the white. And we're going to go nice and light again, very lightly with the black on top. And then we're going to take our white again and we're going to go over it or blend it. And I may have done a little bit too much black on this one, but that's okay. So again, we're going to go in lightly first, very lightly. And when we do this lightly, we should be able to see the paper come through the color. So do black first. Then we're going to put the white over top. I'm going to do a little bit more white to lighten it up a little bit, because I went a little too dark with the black. So notice we go from white to a light gray to a little bit of a darker gray. We're going to go a little bit darker in this next square. So again, nice and light with your black. And then our white over top. We're just going to blend that out. You see it's a little bit darker than the second box. I may have to add a little bit more black to it, not too much. Remember, I'm not pushing hard, I'm going very light. I'm going to start with my white just to clean it off a little bit. I'm going to go in with my black. And you'll see that we have started to create a gray scale. So we went from white through to a light gray, a little bit darker gray, a little bit darker, until we've went all the way to black. So from light to dark is our gray scale. That's value. So by adding white or black to colors is how we get value. Now we're going to see if we have some time here during class, and we're going to try this with some color. I've chosen the color blue. You can do whatever color you want. I'm also going to clean off my oil pastel. So you'll notice I got a lot of black on my white oil pastel. And I can just rub that off on the side of the paper and see it gets it nice and clean so that we can start all over. Again, we're going to start with our white in the first box. This is going to be our lightest color. Our lightest value of blue. We're going to go nice and light. Barely put any pressure on that. And then we're going to blend it back out with the white again. Now, when you add color to black and white, we do call this tints and shades, but we're just going to stick with the word value for right now. So moving into the next box, I'm going to start with white. I'm going to go a little bit heavier with my blue, not too heavy. Then I'm going to blend that out again with my white. And you notice our blue will go from light blue all the way to a very, very dark blue. And it's all about how much white or how much black you add to the color. With oil pastels, it can get a little messy, so you may get some gray inside of your color if you've had some black left over on your oil pastel. So in the third box, I did go a lot darker with my oil pastel. I didn't fill it in like we did with the black up top, but I did press a little bit harder. So here's where we're going to start to add a little bit of black. So we're going to start with blue. Start with your color. Lightly, very, very lightly, you're going to add black on top. And then you're going to blend that out with some more blue. So this time we're going to start with blue, a lot darker. If you notice, it's a lot heavier, less paper showing through. A little bit heavier on the black. We'll blend again, and I'm probably going to add a little bit more black to this one just to make it a little bit darker. You just don't want your colors that are side by side to match. You want one to be lighter or darker than the other. Now with the last box, I'm not going to go as dark as I did up top, but I am going to push pretty heavy on my black crayon or oil pastel. And then I'm going to fill in with my blue and go back over again with my black for my lightest or my darkest value. And that's going to be our value scale. Lightness and darkness of color. Again, you can do this with oil pastels or crayons. And take your time with the sections with the ruler. If you found this video helpful at all, don't forget to click the like button and hit subscribe. Thank you guys and have a nice day.